And to the Minister of Internal Affairs. Minister of Internal Affairs, Honorable Nalukol has just been here with his maiden speech. He has said that in Kawempe North constituency, there are still continued arrests and harassment of his voters. And quite a number of them are being arrested and imprisoned. So could you, because we are supposed to come back later, could you give us a report why police and other agencies continue to harass voters in Kawempe when the elections have long ended? Right Honorable Speaker, I'm seeing a common occurrence on all your votes of areas and areas unfunded. I've just looked at prisons with 120 billion in areas and all of that money to service providers, and it's not budgeted for. I wonder how we pass a budget when we consumed commodities, goods of our business people, and we have not budgeted for them. I've seen it in NIRA, I've seen it in defense. When I've counted the areas in your defense and internal affairs, they are almost going to 500 billion or thereabout. That's a huge sums of money for areas, and this is collapsing our businesses. Could we as a committee have not interrogated this matter to see that the agency continue to accumulate areas, yet they can't pay? Also, I've seen here a project called the Solar Project in Nakasongola. Right Honorable Speaker, a similar project was piloted in Korolo here. We spent 7 billion to build a solar system that would even go to a national grid. But since some 5-7 years ago, not a single voltage, is it a watt or voltage, megawatt, is being generated at Korolo.
No, they shouldn't mislead you. A megawatt is so big.
It's so big.
Yeah. By the time the solar plant reaches a megawatt. A kilowatt.
A single unit, kilowatt,
so you
is
kilowatt.
From Korolo going to a national grid. I see us allocating an additional 20 billion to this white elephant project, now in Kasongola. The argument then I was in internal affairs was that the Korolo project was a pilot one. The pilot one.
Hello, please switch on.
And therefore you are now rolling over this. How do you roll over a failed project and allocating money to it? I don't know whether you had no institutional memory to ask them. They even took a committee to China to say procurement that never came through. 9 billion taken in Kololo. All of you are no Kololo. There is no solar being generated there. Now you are saying in Nakasongola, we give another 20 billion. I've also seen here an alarming figure, Honorable Speaker. In the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the number of people being trafficked that have gone up by 185%. Trafficked. From 180, I've seen to 2,000 and something human beings being trafficked. And that report is for the year 22. You seem not to have the latest figures for this year. So if you are to go by that trajectory and you on the increase, so this number of people being trafficked, and we continue to give money. So what's the ministry doing when so many Ugandans, and I've seen the small amount of money you are allocating for missions abroad for people who want to return back and have escaped. Poultry sum of money, and our people are suffering. So in this budget process, what are you doing to curb human trafficking? You also put money for building new prisoners and police stations. But there are police stations still with asbestos across the country. Now, the Ministry of Health is here. It's so many years ago that we outlawed asbestos as a hazard for health. Yes, so what is happening? that you are allocating money to build new prisons when you are causing cancer to some prison officers who are still staying. These are small amount of money. What will it take a country to eliminate that? What will it also take a country to eliminate? I've seen here in this report, you still have a basket. Honorable Speaker, for you and me have been in the prison. We know how humiliating a basket is. What will it take in terms of budget allocation for this country for once to say every prison there is no longer a basket system? For those who don't know the basket system, a bucket system. For those of you who don't know the bucket system, a bucket system is where you, let me leave it at that. But how do we live in this century? And we are talking about steady progress of a government
please.
That has been there for 40 years, and they still want to continue, and you are presiding over a bucket system in your prisons. So right Honorable Speaker, in my humble view, lastly, the Minister of Defense is not here. We are going to spend a whopping 5 trillion on our defense expenditure. A great deal of it going to wage war or enforce peace across the border. How do we not start a debate of enhancing democracy in our neighboring country and reduce this cost? I don't see it being sustainable that we are the ones forcing peace in the region. How are we getting dividends? Today we've known America, for it to supply Ukraine with the weapons, it gets minerals. How are we being paid? We cannot be so charitable with both our both our equipment to Sudan. They have oil. Where are the agreement that they will pay us back? Where is the agreement with the Congo that they will pay us back? So we cannot be just throwing money like that. So countries have changed their approach. We'll give you security, pay us. If you don't have money, have a debt to pay. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Minister. Hansard, please take note.